Hey guys, it's Dual CK here, and today I'm going to be showing you my personal Dark Magician deck. I actually won second place in locals last weekend with this thing, and I gotta say, it was kind of dogging on Floowandereeze and Sprite a little bit, so I feel like that gives me a little bit of authority to tell you guys how to play this a bit, so without further ado, let's get into it. To start us off here, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Dark Magician himself, and in my build of this deck, I do only play him at 2 copies because I have noticed that anything more does tend to get a bit pricky, so, and 2 is usually all you need. In addition to Dark Magician, we play everyone's favorite girl, DMG. And the main reason she's in this deck is another body to bounce souls off of. And on top of that, we also play Salvation, so she's actually kind of helpful in that play for Link plays. We do also play Princess Illusion Magician. She's more or less a way to add Dark Magician to hand for very low cost, so just throwing a monster to your grave. And she special summons out off of that too. So easy, simple body on field and get your big board to hand. Next up, we have Big Man Timaeus. This card is more or less a walking polymerization, and it also is really easy just to special summon from hand in general, so it's a great card. Easy to go into Dragoon or go into Dark Magician the Dragonite. Just overall an amazing card. Next on our list, we've got 2 copies of Magician's Rod. A lot of people do tend to play this at 3, but I found that since Illusion of Chaos is in this deck and that's an Omni search, I figured it's kind of a waste of space to have more than 2. So nice to have an opening hand, but since you can grab so easy, it's no biggie. And here we have the card that saved this entire archetype, Illusion of Chaos. I only played at 1 copy since I do have searchers for him as well, and the fact that he's a searcher you can search off another searcher is kind of amazing. So, great card. He also has a built-in negate that never really comes up, but it's just nice to have on hand. Next on our list, we've got 2 copies of Magician Souls. This card's more or less a floating pot of greed, deck mill, and it special summons one of your main guys from grave. So, honestly, a phenomenal card. And joining these 2 is Calgo Claw Crow. This card, surprisingly, is extremely helpful since we're mainly playing dark monsters, and it's just a free special summon on the field that you can link off of, so amazing card. Next up, we got 2 copies of Effect Veiler. This card's amazing, it's a hand trap, everyone knows it, and on top of that, it is a tuner, so it can help us go into our extra deck synchro plays. Great card. In this deck, we are playing the little Blue Boy draw engine, and it's honestly kind of amazing because fundamentally it's a mill 3 draw 2. So Blue Boy searches out secrets, which searches out knowledge, which we can bounce off of Blue Boy, throw them both the grave draw 2. Kind of great and makes the deck a lot more consistent. Next up, we have Prep of Rites. And this card is why Illusion of Chaos is so good. So it is the searcher for him, helps to grab him, kind of a great card. All you really need is 2 copies of it though. Now we're on to the little field spell combination here, and I am running Magician's Salvation and Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Magician's Salvation is more or less fundamental for any type of DM deck, so that one's self-explanatory, but Secret Village of the Spellcasters does prevent your opponent from playing any sort of spell card, so kind of fundamental and really, really good. And Terraforming's obviously there to search out both of them. We do play 1 Magicalized Fusion. This card is kind of a last resort card because it does bring out Quintet Magician, and that's kind of the big play with it. And Quintet kind of wipes fields and wins games. So if the game's going on a little long, this card comes right in handy. And of course you have to see the Soul Servants. This card is absolutely phenomenal. It's a Pot of Greed and an Omni Searcher for the Dark Magician archetype. So kind of a staple, just amazing. I only played at 2 copies since we do have Rod and that is a searcher for it, so 3 would just be a little bit unnecessary. And here we jump into Dark Magic Circle. This card is an amazing thing to open with because once you play it, you get to search top 3 cards, Dark Magician related spell or trap, add to hand, and it's also our main banishing card, so yeah, amazing thing to start out with. since we just talked about Circle, I might as well bring up its perfect combo card, and that would be Dark Magician Curtain. So this card allows you to special summon Dark Magician straight from your deck, which is really, really nice. So you can play it while Circle's already out on the field, and it's just an immediate free banish. So kind of great. Now on to our two little DM spell cards, Dark Magic Attack and Thousand Knives. Dark Magic Attack is kind of just Harpy's Feather Duster for Dark Magician, and it's kind of amazing for that on its own. And Thousand Knives, people don't really expect you to play that card, so it kind of is great for taking out boss monsters, because your opponent won't really expect it. To Secrets of Dark Magic. This card is amazing. It's a polymerization for Dark Magician, and it's a ritual spell for Dark Magician. And it can either bring out Illusion of Chaos, or what it mainly does is go into Dragoon and Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. And here we have two copies of Fusion Deployment. This is more or less just another Dark Magic Curtain. And I played 2 and 2 because I liked a little bit of the variety, but yeah, that's more or less its purpose. And you can see that we're playing one copy of Bond between teacher and student. This card's great. It's just an easy way to bring out Dark Magician Girl, so you can go into your Soul Servant plays and just draw a ton of cards. Also just brings another boy on field you can link someone off of. And now we're going to be moving on to the main traps of our deck. I run 2 copies of Solemn Judgment, which is an amazing card. Omni Negate, stops everything, and only the small cost to have your life points. So really not that bad, since life points don't really matter that much. I mean, you're only dead when you're dead, so might as well use them. As you can see here, we do also play 2 copies of Solemn Strike. It's kind of like the little brother to Solemn Judgment, and I'd say it's not necessarily as good, but it definitely has its moments, since it can affect, like, negate monster effects, and that's really good in the modern meta, so. We're now going to go ahead and jump into our extra deck, and we're starting off with the Dark Magicians. This card is absolutely phenomenal, since it allows you to draw 1 card, and it also allows you to bring out Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl once this card does die. So really good way to get to your bodies, and that whole extra draw mechanic is very, very important. Now comes the extra deck monster that everyone knows about, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This card carries this deck on its shoulders, and it does so easily. This card is utterly insane. It is a negate, a double pop, a damage inflictor, and it grows in stats. I mean, how it's not banned, I have absolutely no idea. Now, a card that I would say is honestly equal to Dragoon in terms of its just versatility and overall use is Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. This card's amazing since it completely protects your back row. In other words, it keeps Eternal Soul safe and prevents all of your guys from dying. And he counts as Dark Magician, so he can be brought back with Eternal Souls. So, amazing card. We have Master of Chaos. This card rarely ever comes up, but when it does, it's really, really good. It can banish all monsters your opponent controls and special summon a monster from your graveyard. And when it dies, you get a spell card from graveyard to hand. Situational, but kind of great. And right here you see Quintet Magician. This card is a powerhouse and wins games. Wipes field and more or less just does lethal. Here we have number 89 Mind Hacker. This card is honestly really situational. It really depends on who you're going against, where they're going to pull it out, but it's just nice having that whole little banish effect on hand. The next card in our extra deck is Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. This card is a way to get back Dragoon from your graveyard, and it also does burn damage if your opponent's already low on health, so kind of phenomenal. And here we have number 11 Big Eye. This card is kind of like a legal version of, or I would say legal version, now that it's legal, Change of Heart. That you can just kind of bring out from your extra deck and just use when you need to. Great card. And here we have 2 staples that everyone runs in their deck, Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn. These 2 cards are, as I said, they're staples. Everyone knows what they do. Just great cards in general. Not too situational, just if you need pops, if you need anything, they're there. Next on our list we have a Link Spider. This card is amazing just to throw DM in grave, so you can use Eternal Soul and Circle and just bring them back and pop another card. So fundamentally, just an amazing little card. And we have Borrelsword Dragon. This card is a bit more niche, but I do find when I do have the chance and it does come out, it does guarantee a game win. So kind of a great card. Next on our list, we have one copy of a Link Kuriboh. I don't need to say too much about it. It's just a Link Kuriboh. Everyone plays it. Good card. And here we have Red Dragon Archfiend. This card will wipe your opponent's monsters off the field, and on top of that, inflict burn damage to your opponent for it. So if you can use this in combination with Flare Metal, I mean, your opponent's not lasting that long. And next on the list, we have Ruler Archfiend. This card is amazing going against a burn deck because this card will heal you up by a ton while it's on the field. So great card. Alright guys, for this next little section, I'm going to be showing you my side deck. And first of all, we're going to be starting off with Upstart Goblin. This card I kind of throw in there. It's not really needed because it's just a space filler. But if I do need just a little bit more consistency for going against certain decks, it's kind of great. Same with Pot of Extravagance. You get certain decks and I need a little bit more draw power. This stuff definitely comes in handy. And here we have two copies of Nibiru. If I'm going against an opponent that's going to just be spamming out monsters left and right, then this is kind of the card to have on hand. So that's why I have it side decked. Doesn't come up too much in modern plays now, but sometimes you'll have those rogue decks that'll just be spamming guys out. And here on the list we have Mystic Mine, two copies of it exactly. And this card I don't like to play too much because it does seem a little bit unfair to my opponents, and honestly it makes the game not too enjoyable. So I just have it side decked in case I'm getting a little pissy, but besides that, yeah, it's a pretty good card. Also in my side deck, I do play one copy of Called by the Grave. So this card, I've been debating about whether or not just leaving it in the main deck because I do tend to use it a lot, but for the moment being, I do have it in the side deck. And next on the list is Triple Tactics Talent. This card is amazing. It's another little draw card, or it's a Monster Reborn, or it's kind of whatever you want to be. And next is Crossout Designator. This card, I do have to say, if you know your opponent and you know what they're going to be playing, then this card is utterly phenomenal. And next to this little spot is another copy of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. If I know my opponent and I know like the whole preventing them from playing spell cards is really messing up, then I'll just throw another copy in. And next we have Piercing the Darkness. This card is amazing. I mean, you can kind of just win games with this card, especially since this is a very fusion focused deck and we do bring out a lot of normal monsters. The extra draw power and just the extra power that it puts behind a monster is amazing. And here we also play one copy of Dimensional Barrier. This card kind of prevents your opponent from doing any sort of extra deck plays, which is really good in this meta. And on top of that, we have one copy of Gravedigger's Trap Hole. This card will just stop any deck that has to rely on the graveyard for by any means necessary, and inflicts a big chunk of burn damage to them as well. So kind of amazing. And to finish it all off, we have one copy of Monster Reborn. This card's mainly in here just to bring back Dragoon if I'm pretty sure he's going to die in the duel. And I'm not really too competent in this survival. And yeah, great card. Staple for a reason. Before ending this video off, I just wanted to show you guys a few test hands that I ran with this deck, just to give you guys an idea of the type of starting hands you'd open up with it and the level of consistency that it does have. So as you can see right here, I open up with Soul Servant and Magician's Souls and the little Poly for Dark Magician. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and play Magician's Souls, throw Dark Magician in Grave, but bring it back using its effect, and throwing it in Grave. And from there on out, we're going to go ahead and play Secret of Dark Magic. So fusion some DM and DM Girl out. And from that, we're going to go into the Dark Magicians. And from there, we're going to play Soul Servant. This card allows us to rig any DM card from a deck onto the top of our deck. And after that, the Dark Magician's effect's going to activate since we did play a spell card. And we're pretty much going to be able to just draw it for free. So just an amazing little searcher for us. And you can see the card we picked there was Tamaya, so pretty much going to immediately grab that, have it in hand. We're going to activate Soul Servant, allowing us to draw 2 more cards, and kind of convenient we got DM right there. So, but from that, we're going to go ahead and throw that in Grave. So we're going to special summon Tamias out. Tamias effect activates that in Dark Magician, allows us to bring out Dragoon, and we get to set one down, and that's about that. So as you can see here, I did decide to give you guys another little starting hand, so let's just go ahead and jump into it and see what I draw. So open with Illusion of Chaos, Magician's Salvation, Magician's Souls, kind of really similar to last time, but I know the way I play through it is a little bit different, so might as well just run through it and see. So we're going to go ahead and play Magician's Souls, throwing DM in grave and activating its other effect, which just allows us to bring out DM from grave and got cost for itself, more or less. So, and the next card we do play is Illusion of Chaos, and with this, we're just going to go ahead and search right in the Rod. And from Rod, we're going to do a really similar tactic as we did last time, which was go from Rod straight into Soul Servant. So since Soul Servant, I mean, is our Omni draw card, and Omni kind of just rig card in general, it's almost going to be, as I said before, the card you're just going to go ahead and grab. But there are exceptions to that rule, so you just got to make sure you pay attention to it and just don't get into the whole, I guess, flow of your deck. You got to make sure you think a little bit with the two. And with this, we do Soul Servant, and in this little bit, I do have a bit of trouble deciding on exactly what route I want to take. There are definitely a lot of bit of options here with what I can do, and I did end up deciding to go with Timaeus, as you see me picking it back right there. Conveniently, it was going to be the next card I drew, so. But yeah, rig that, put that right on top, and we're going to go ahead and banish our little Soul Servant, and draw into our Timaeus. And with our Timaeus, we are going to go ahead and throw Magician's Salvation to the grave, throw Timaeus out onto the field, and using the fusion summon our two spellcasters together to bring out the Dark Magicians. And what's really important to bring out, why it's really important to bring out the Dark Magicians first, is because if you're going to play another spell card after it, like I am going to, then it just gives you a little bit of a free draw. So, and as you can see here, it does tend to come in handy. So we play that card, go into Dragoon, draw on the Village of the Spellcasters, play it on the field, and now we have a negate and just an overall block. So yeah, that's going to be it for my Dark Magician deck. I hope this video was able to offer you guys a little bit of insight on how to build this deck and play the archetype a little bit. So if you guys have any thoughts or feelings, feel free to leave them in the comments section. And yeah, I'll let you guys know when I build another iteration. I'll see you guys later.